when the rain's gonna go.
No, it's not gonna go, pal.
No, it's not. I'm here with Derek Brener, this guy, this beautiful person, with the opposite shirt of me, with white. I think it's the first interview with someone with a white shirt. Fantastic looking shirt, by the way. It's actually nice and thick.
I mean, my wife said I should wear something suitable, so
Nice.
you know what I mean? I took off the hat. Most people don't recognize me without a cap.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's Derek, you know? But, yeah, man, you already made a joke. I'm not rocking the white gloves.
No.
Just the white shirt. All right.
White shirt, white teeth, good looks. So Derek Brener runs
Please.
down for
The Weeknd.
The Weeknd.
Correct.
Anybody else?
There's been some folks in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody
yeah.
currently?
Well, no, not currently. I mean, I'm married to The Weeknd right now.
Yeah.
This guy's shown me so much loyalty that I am.
I think you're working for the.
I mean, that's the running joke around here. Yeah, everybody's working for The Weeknd because everyone is.
Yeah.
But you know, this man has shown me so much love and grace. And I don't know how he manages to still stay as humble as he is. Like he honestly, he knows what it is to be a real person still, which is a beautiful thing.
This level.
At this level, when literally everybody wants to be your friend, you got gobs of money, yada yada, and you're that hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, you kind of disconnect from reality, but he's managed to hold on to himself, and I thank God for that, for sure.
Wow.
And him,
Yeah.
you know, and he's shown me so much loyalty through the years that I am so loyal to him. But anyways, I have moonlighted with other folks.
Okay.
I've been with Abel for 10 years and still going.
Okay.
And this train ain't stopping. Like he loves this. Because it is addictive. We're all addicted, right?
Yeah. A
Uh,
little crazy to be doing this.
it is crazy. But I was-
Sleep in a can with a bunch of people. I mean, I
It's
try to
so
explain to people who
weird.
like aren't. Imagine going to work with everybody, and then you go in a room with them, and you stay with them, and then you go to work with them, and then you go back to sleep with them in a new place,
Yeah.
and then you go eat with them, and you go hang out with them. Imagine never being able to leave them for a lot. Like, congratulations, aren't you?
yeah, I mean, for someone like me who doesn't go out and party, you know, when I get some time alone, I take that time because yeah, you're just constantly around energy, a lot of energy and people and chatter, and it's like when you get that time to be in a hotel room by yourself, it's a blessing, really.
Are you an introvert?
I wouldn't say that,
Yeah.
but I do enjoy my time alone.
Yeah.
You know, it's precious to me because, especially being a sound man, like it's a lot. It is a lot. Like even my SE, you know, I told them I feel guilty sometimes, and the crew, because they're real men, you know, like they are in here a lot doing real men stuff, you know. And then I show up, like, hey guys, you know,
Hey,
load my
guys.
file, you know, like turn on a couple of computers and do a show. But my SE said to me when he was mixing, it's taxing on your emotional state. You know, there is a lot of pressure, and it doesn't matter if a mic goes out or a technicality or somebody else screws up. You're the only guy that people are looking at, and you take it to heart. If you care, you're going to take it to heart.
Yeah.
No matter if your crew screws up, you screwed up. You know, it's a heavy title.
Yeah. I was.
You know?
I was talking with, I won't say his name, but he was working with the A-list artist, and one of the, I'll tell you off camera, but he was also telling me about how much he made as well. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine making that much a day. It's like,
Yeah.
For that amount and with where you're at, you got to understand the expectations at that level
Yeah.
of a no-fail situation at this kind of like, who do you think they're going to come at if something's not working? There's an
100%.
expectation of this.
You're right.
They're not going to come to the SE or the Fly Tech
No.
or, and honestly, once you get to a certain level too, is like, you know how little of what I'm doing is actually mixing. I mean, there's a lot to this that I don't think people really understand. And some people see it. And I even thought it too when I first started off. Of like, look at this dude just comes in and walks and does sound and walks away, but they don't see the years and years and years and years and years that went before that to where. Don't get me wrong. There's some people who kind of, especially now since COVID, can sit in this seat and haven't done much. But for the majority, most people can be able to assess what's going on like that, be able to figure it out, be able to delegate through that. That took time and effort. It's not like you just walk up a bus one day and be here.
I mean, if that does happen to somebody, hats off. If you're rising to the occasion,
Yeah.
and you're, you don't have all the years behind you, but I will say you'll probably get scuffed up. I got scuffed up,
Perfect.
No, not at all. I mean, I got scuffed up along the way, but it built me to be where I'm at
Yeah.
today. And I mean, I have a pretty crazy story, to be quite honest. I mean, I was thrown into this pretty quickly.
Okay.
It went from like small theaters and clubs to arenas, and I was just bamboozled at first. And I cut my teeth with who is now one of the biggest artists out there. It's Bruno, and that's where I got I will never ever forget what that kid did for me, and he was a kid when I got with him, and he pushed me to be the best that I could possibly be. I mean, he's that guy, and thank God for that. I thank God for those experiences, and when I would mess up, I would claim it. And when he would mess up, he would claim it too and be like, we'll get through this together. Let's move on to the next one. And without him, I swear I would not have the experience that I do now.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm very grateful for that whole thing. And I was with Bruno for 5 years, and then this came along.
Before we get there, can we like rewind maybe a little bit
course.
further? Like, where are you from?
I'm from San Diego.
Born
and raised, in San Diego, North County, San Diego.
Okay.
And it wasn't bougie at that point. It was like, it was pretty rough, And I mean, if we rewind even further back, where I got my love for this whole thing was musical theater.
Okay.
And
were you on the tech side of it, or were you on the performance side of it?
No, at 8 years old.
8 years.
8 years old, I was. Well, hold on a second. 8 years old, I was singing, dancing. I was an actor.
Okay.
And crushing it, getting all the lead roles as the little guy. And then I got to middle school, and what happened? In a middle school with a bunch of, I don't want to say thugs, but like, little wannabe gangsters at that point in the 90s. It was a lot of teasing, and it hurt. Even my best friends that were supporting me in that musical theater thing, turned on me, and then I was the outsider, right?
Yeah.
And and I have no regrets, but to this day, I look back and I think, what if I kept going? But regardless, I love the theater so much that I was like, okay, well, what isn't, lame?
Yeah. I'm not
Right?
gonna fight it for you.
And I love music so much, right? That
It's so interesting that age, like our perspective of like looking at different things and like, oh, what's going to be cool and what's not going to be cool. Looking back now on that perspective is like, that's kind of silly having that, but that was really, young, dumb, and super influential. I mean, I've got those
big
two.
time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, it definitely built character in me for sure.
Yeah.
But I loved tweaking knobs. I loved electronics. I mean, growing up in the 80s, you got the 2 VCRs and you're dubbing tapes illegally, and, like you're doing all that stuff, right? So anyways, I shifted, and I fell into somewhat of a bad crowd, I guess you could say, but it was doing something positive, you know. And throughout the years, I just stayed close to the theater doing sound, and there was this 2,000 seat amphitheater in my hometown, Vista, California, called the Moonlight Amphitheater. And it was a big deal. It was a community theater, but it was like regarded as a really professional thing, right? And that's also where I was acting when I was younger. So I just transitioned, and I quickly rose to the ranks of wireless mixer. And so it was then all of a sudden it was like, running body mics and micing up the actors in backstage, and sorting frequencies, and then EQing and mixing and doing that whole thing. And in musical theater, there's a lot of phase cancellation when the lavalier mics would get close to one another.
Yep.
So I would play it like a video game, just reading the script, and it sounded great. The creative director was always like, Derek's the guy. And I took it really seriously. So I never had another job other than this. Like, I literally haven't had any other job. Because it was 15 years old till, doing wireless body mics, mixing for Moonlight Amphitheater. And then college, same deal. I went to Chico State. I mean, I partied my face off. When I say I fell in the bad crowd, like from 15 to 30, I was partying heavily.
Yeah.
But I still loved music and loved sound so much that I just honed my craft, and at 30, I stopped the madness. I found a different way to live. And 6 months into actually practicing this new way of life, I got a call from an old drinking buddy named Ari Levine, who was the producer for this new kid named Bruno Mars. And it was the right time, being at the right place at the right time. I think a lot of folks in my seat have that thing, that story or whatever. And that was my story, and it was like, we hit it off, me and Bruns, we hit it off. I mixed monitors for him at USC, because I was working for a company called Gear Connection, who taught me so much. Like, all the folks there taught me so much. I skipped some stuff. Like, I moved to LA after college. I just started working at theaters. The John Anson Ford Amphitheater, which is the sister venue to the Hollywood Bowl. The Wiltern Theater. The Wiltern. It's like, just saying it makes my heart flutter. Like, I love the Wiltern. And just kept going. And there was so many times where I'd screw up and think, like, I got to get out of this. Like, I'm not good enough at this. This is so embarrassing. Like, most people don't realize that, like, when something happens, it hurts. It hurts heavily. I hope the manufacturers are listening too. Like, with our livelihood in mind, like, gear can't mess up in these situations.
Yeah.
It's like the unsaid thing.
Yeah.
That nobody really talks about. When there's gear malfunctions, like, you lose years of your life, man. At least I do.
Yeah.
I take it really, really heavy,
Yeah.
even if it's not my fault.
Yeah. Care a lot.
I care a lot, and
You're very passionate about what you do, man.
I don't want the artist to lose money, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't realize that, like, and I'm sure this has been said a million times, the lights can turn off, the video screen can go out, the pyro doesn't fire. all these things can fade, and we turn up on the halogens, and we can have a show if the sound is still going,
Yeah.
right? But if the sound goes out, then what?
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's done. You know, it's like what is video without audio? Just pictures on a screen.
Yeah.
What's audio without video? It's radio, man. It's what we you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's what we put in our ears when we're working out and when we're having fun, and we don't need all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways,
So, a couple questions. With the theater background, I heard it said, I'd be curious if you agree with this, that if you ever really want to learn how to mix and EQ, do spoken word and do theater. You'll learn so much about frequencies and about EQing doing that. What's your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? Is it pretty hard to just do spoken word? I know you're looking back at it now, but
you definitely learn a lot about EQ, but you don't learn much about compression, you know? You don't learn much about compression. Like in the musical theater game, it's so dynamic, and you are riding faders like a lot, you know, manually riding faders. I got 10 compressors and they're right here. You know what I mean? And it sounds good that way. It really does.
Yeah.
Like when you know the show, these are the best compressors that you got, really. Other than when you need color. Anyways, I learned a lot about EQ, but definitely not compression and like keeping things tight.
yeah.
That's something that I didn't learn in musical theater.
When did you start mixing bands, or have you always mixed bands? Was it Bruno when you first started mixing bands?
No. There is a band called Nico Vega.
Okay.
Right? And Nico Vega was a big deal in LA.
Are they still a thing?
They are still a thing. And they're still out there and
Go
doing
look 'em
their
up.
thing. I mean, Nico Vega's got some heat for sure. And back then, oh man, I'm so grateful for them too. They knew me, I knew them. They asked me to come tour manage and do sound for them on their first tours,
Wow.
right? And that's really where I cut my teeth with bands.
Like a
you know?
baby band in a band type?
Baby band in a van, exactly. And I was rolling around Nico Vega, you know, the 15 passenger, the trailer, and those are some really, really special times for me.
Yeah.
But I was still partying hard, and I got fired off of a tour because the headliner was like, yo, this guy's out of control. And they could see the darkness in me too. And they said, D, you got to go home and figure some stuff out. And I went back home and realized that I can't live like this anymore. You know, like the pain of staying the same became greater than the fear of change. And then that's when I started to change. And then I got a call. Hey, this new kid Bruno, you know, I think you'd be a good fit for him. And that was it.
People ask me about, because I've been sober now for a little bit. People ask me about that, and my thing is like your why has to be greater than your want with it. And I've had a couple friends who reached out to me during that. They also wanted to get sober, and it's like, hey, I know I need to, but I don't want to. It's like, well, then you won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't want to, it's not going to happen.
It's not.
Yeah.
And I'm a really big proponent. We talked about this earlier about sobriety, and my wife isn't sober. She drinks some bourbon. She likes that, and I, enjoy her doing this. I don't have nothing against people who do drink, but for me, it's just, I never woke up in the morning and thought, dang, I wish I drank last night.
No.
And I really, honestly,
for
like,
sure.
my wife always knows I'm a safe ride. My employer always knows I'm not gonna, my wife says I'm not gonna put myself in a situation anything could be considered happening. My employer knows I'll be, in straight mind with it.
Right.
With that, was there a point for you that was like, that you can look back to that you can see was the turning point for you? Like, I get it now, and that's what I need to be. If you don't want to talk about it, I totally understand.
Well, no, I'll talk about it. I just didn't want to hate myself anymore. Like that's really what it came down to. It wasn't like, oh, I wanna move, you know, into this position. It was like, I just don't want to hate myself.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
kind of like deep and cerebral that sounds and kind of depressing,
yeah,
I couldn't keep going like that. I was like, if I'm gonna have a life, I need to do this. I've known I've needed to do this since I was 19. Like, I got to do this,
yeah.
and I did it. You know, and best thing that ever happened to me, straight up. Um, and that's where I learned a lot too. It was like, you know, talking about Ari, Bruno's producer. You know, I remember being wasted in a bar talking to him and asking him like, what kind of mics do you use in the studio? This is pre Bruno or anything. And I was like, what kind of mics do you use? He's like, it doesn't matter what mic you use. You need a song, man. You need to get into the industry. You need to break into the industry. And I just thought, really, bro? Like, you don't need a good mic?
Hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? And I thought, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I held my tongue that night, and thank God I did. And I didn't burn this bridge or rub him the wrong way because what? Because he called me. Because he was right. Like it doesn't matter what mic. I later find out. If you got a song, you got a song that's gonna go. It doesn't matter, you know. And for audio files, that's like, come on, man, you need a good mic. No, I've actually heard multiple hit songs with $100 microphone on the vocal. Doesn't matter. I've seen a lot of amazing rock and roll being recorded with a 57, dude. You know, like whatever.
Yeah.
If you got the song and it hits people a certain way, it just doesn't matter, you know?
So, from what I've heard about Bruno from people in his world, that he is amazingly talented, super talented,
Incredible.
works very hard,
Yeah,
expects a lot.
big time.
And if he's going to work that hard, he expects you to work that hard. And from the people I know that have worked with him, it has forced them to be a better person and a better engineer.
For
And,
sure.
just even people, musicians or whatever. Could you tell a little bit about that experience going from, you know, baby band in a van, nothing, to going now with Bruno Mars in the beginning to like with somebody at that I think it's a little bit contagious of like you find somebody who's that passionate, has a dream and has a vision. It just makes you want to
Rise to that.
be that.
For sure.
Was that kind of your experience with him?
A hundred,
Or,
yeah,
like,
100% because he
I
was.
want to see one of his shows. Sorry, I want to see one of his shows. So I have so much respect for that dude, and
Oh,
for
for
what
sure.
like the level of performance that I've seen of it. It's like, wow, that guy steps it up.
For sure.
Like, tell me a little bit about that experience and about that world.
He was so hungry to be where he is and to do what he loves and is put on this planet to do, that he expected his whole team to have the same passion that he did. And he continues to be like that. And in the beginning, I was driving the van, you know, like it was the Sprinter, me in the driver's seat, tour managing. I couldn't handle the tour managing and the sound at the same time in the first 6 months of being with him. And luckily, the manager called me and said, what do you want to do? Tour manage or do sound? Sound, you know? But to answer your question, it was daunting. It was daunting to be baby band doing clubs, colleges, and whatever, to all of a sudden in clubs with this really, really viral thing happening at that point because it was just the beginning. And we were all riding this rocket of like, whoa, this kid is insane, like amazing. We need to hold on to this rocket because this is going. And I would find myself behind some of the most talented broadcast engineers in the game, doing TV and not just being like a deer in headlights and thinking these guys got it. And then later on finding out, no, Bruno needs this, Bruno needs that. And This is not how he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And we all just kind of like learned along the way, stumbling. And I hope he doesn't look back at those times like ashamed or whatever, because honestly, they're so innocent and real, you know, those baby steps,
Yeah.
to where it's almost like you just have to appreciate those moments as well.
Looking back at that Bruno Mars time, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but like, what is your biggest takeaway from that period of your life?
Just I have to say it, gratitude.
Mm.
That's what's ringing through my head. If I didn't have Bruno to be patient enough with me, rising to the occasion, then I wouldn't be here right now.
Wow.
Straight up. And I will never ever like forget that,
Wow.
you know. Second, broadcast, man. Broadcast situations. Like, I have been emotionally scarred by TV. I have, with Bruno.
Also,
Uh, Sitting behind a broadcast engineer and telling him what to do is tough. It's really, really tough. Especially,
yeah.
yeah, especially when you're a whippersnapper. Like, you're a new dude, they never seen you, they don't know your chops, you don't vibe with them, it's a weird energy or whatever. Like, it's just so awkward. And if they don't do what you're telling them to do or requesting them to do, and the artist isn't happy, it just hurts.
Yeah.
And it lives forever. Like, that's where we're at now. It's not like it's going to be
Yep.
on Ed Sullivan and it's done.
Yep.
Like, it's on at 8 o'clock. We got to get home. Watch it. It's done.
Yep.
You know how it is at this point.
Yep.
And man, I have to say it, man. I miss those days of just being able to mix
Mm.
and have a good time on a PA,
Yeah.
and not having to always think about where it's gonna go and live forever. You know, it hurts.
It's interesting the time we're at now with cell phones, and I was doing an interview with Kyle with Creed, and we're talking about the band or a show, and he said there was a girl in the show who was there who had a bigger social media following than the band.
Wow.
So arguably,
Yeah.
she had more influence
Totally.
than that band on a phone right there. So he
Right.
has to now also think of like, okay, how's it sound on the freaking phone? I can't just listen to the room. I now have to think about that as well. Is that kind of like, I don't want to get too far ahead, but is that kind of your process as well? Like, you try to think of it like, how
The
does that here,
phones-
or
Yeah. The phones, they're a bummer, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I've been to some shows that I'm like, this sounds god awful. And we'll listen to somebody's phone recording and be like, that's pretty good. And it's so confusing. I honestly think that especially the cell phone doesn't know how to handle high levels of top end.
yeah,
It just doesn't know how to juggle that. And top end is exactly, in my opinion, what you're yearning for in a live environment. You know, it's not the low mid. That's what we're all battling every day in these toilet bowls. Straight up. Like, we're literally, just butchering low mid.
toilet bowls.
Seriously, like, we're in a toilet bowl, man. We're in a massive toilet bowl all the time.
I'm never not gonna look at it that way now.
But it's the truth. I mean, it's so funny. Like, we got a hard gig, all of us out there, especially in the arenas and the stadiums, because it's just like I don't know one amazing studio engineer that brings the best mix and the best gear and the best speakers into the bathroom and just cranks it up. Like, nobody does that. And that's what we're doing. And we're trying to deliver the mix that's been baked here for months everywhere to the guy way up there in the back against the wall. Like, It's tough,
Like the
man.
one that Live Nation now opened up when they said they
Yeah.
wouldn't, back behind the stage. Now I gotta figure that out.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a rough gig, you know. But regardless, the cell phones, I care. Like I'm scouring the internet just like most, and I listen to a phone record where I'm like, that was the best show ever, and I hear somebody's phone, I'm like, boom.
I heard, I don't remember, oh my gosh, I forgot which interview it was. I think it was, what's his Pearl Jam. He was talking about how he really focuses on uh, House Left,
Mhm.
where the VIP is, and where the band's fans and family
Family,
members are going to
friends.
be, and also phones as well. Because like, what's the first thing that they're going to hear when they get back to the green room? They're going to get on their social media.
Yes.
They're going to talk to their friends. So that is so much as important as the rest of it, because that's the instant feedback they get from people that they care about
For sure.
the most. That was an interesting perspective
No,
on
that's
that,
spot
honestly.
on. And
Yeah.
this brings me to my next uh, topic that I want to talk about and what I've learned in this. I'm caught between the audience and the artist. I am caught between making it amazing for everyone out here and amazing for the artist whenever they listen back to a left right out of the desk or on a phone or whatever, however they're getting it back, after the show, because they can never be out here with the audience, obviously. Then again, in these situations at this point where they're in front of the PA, like there's no hiding for us anymore. When you have an artist in front of the PA, like they know what the PA sounds like. You know what I mean? They're in front of it, literally. Like they have the best seat in the house almost. They are right in front of it all the time. So, in that sense, great. They're in front of the PA. If they're happy, awesome. But it's really a juggle. This is where studio and live have, basically crossed over, because whatever is being given to them at the end of the night, whether it's from the video feed that they take back to the bus and put into some smaller application, you need to make that broadcast mix, your board mix, whatever, smacking. So to where they're like, this guy is the guy, you know, this is the guy. Because when I take this mix that he did to my clock radio speakers, I can hear some thump, and my vocal is sitting exactly where I want it to, you know, and the audience mics are juiced, like that's where I'm at. It's a bummer, because I look at younger engineers sometimes and I'm so jealous, because they don't care about the record mix. They're not thinking about what the artist is going to hear after the show. They're just kick drum, snare drum. They're mixing on the PA. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how it used to be for me. It was kick drum, snare drum, vocal, cool. Wow, it sounds great.
Yeah.
But I would take those mixes back to my hotel room and be like, this is garbage in a smaller application. It doesn't thump. It's too honky, blah 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 blah. Like these PAs nowadays have been tailored to be hi-fi. And so when you put a kick drum mic into it, it's like, oh, 12K is already up. It
Yeah.
and 400's kind of scooped because of the PA that you're on that day, and you're like, that's good.
Yeah.
And then you take it back to the hotel room and it's like the most garbage phone booky bull, and you're like, oh wow, that PA like really threw me off.
Yeah.
To where it's all got to be baked here in your reference and make sure that it translates everywhere, as much as it can.
Explain that a little bit to people that don't understand, especially the young engineers, because in a club or in the small setting you start and you go, kick, snare, hat, toms, guitars, and you start from there. At this level, it's a little bit different because you spent that time to get this sounding. Explain that a little bit and why you did that shift from that mindset for you. Does that make sense? I'm trying.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was Howard Page in like 2011 at Claire Brothers, and I was like fiending for a D&B PA, and he was like, Derek, you need to make sure that the bones coming out of your desk are incredible, solid bones, and the PA shouldn't matter. You should always tailor whatever your PA is that day to your mix, you know, and that completely shifted my mindset. And you know, for the younger engineers that don't have to worry about that, it's like, we're doing a live show, we did it, it's done. You know, like, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Cherish those moments, you know. But for the folks that really have to worry about the aftermath, you and you do have the privilege of having time, having gear, virtual playback, all of that, then you can start worrying about the mix coming out of the desk translating to everything well, you know. Because yeah, as an engineer too, it makes you feel really good to walk away from a solid with a solid board mix and listen to it and be proud of it.
Yeah.
You know. But for the youngsters, don't if you're touring and you're trying to get the same result every day, you need to have that mindset. You really need to, like, you're not touching every input on every different PA that you're on that day. You know, you are just tailoring the PA to sound like your reference monitors. That's it. And I mean, that's old news. You know, folks have been saying that for years, you know, and I'm just stealing.
You know,
I'm just reading encyclopedias, you know, like, it's been written already.
I was somebody commented on one of my videos. It was with the SE, and he was talking about tuning the system. Somebody commented on there about how, like, why would you? It's a $500,000 sound system. Why would you leave the sound system be and tune your inputs? And I was like, I put one of those palm face emojis on that, and I looked at his profile, like, who's this idiot doing that? And I looked at it's a guy that does some small gigs, a couple speakers on sticks. And it's like, okay, that's where he's at.
Right.
I get that. And there's a different. Once you get to a certain level, it's a little bit different. You got to actually, first off, the PA is a little more than $500,000 first. Second off, you do have to actually have this be solid every single time. You don't have the time to go to every single little input. And there was another time that I had to do an AES event recently. It was, I don't know, about a month ago, and it was this crappy club in town, and they wanted to do a mic shootout, and I showed up there. There was a bar in front of it, and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I walking into? And they had these they had like a 58, they had a KSM 9, they had some biodynamic ones, and it was a crappy sound system and a crappy club, and the things that they were saying were kind of but I looked at them, I was like, oh my goodness, it reminded me of when I was younger, so excited to try different microphones in my crappy club, and to be able to have that excitement of doing new different things. Like,
Yeah.
I never want someone to lose that excitement or that passion. And I could sit here from this level and judge everything that they're thinking from this side, or I could take a moment and go like, you know what? I never want to forget those moments where I was so excited to try a microphone in a crappy club that I loved because it was my club. And I don't know if it's like that for you, but for me, it's like I'm so focused on bigger and better and where I need to be. And it's hard for me sometimes to sit in the moment and like, you know what? I'm thankful for where I'm at. This is awesome.
Well, I think that's necessary. That like hunger to try at whatever level you're at.
Yeah.
Small club to a toilet bowl. Like, have the hunger, the excitement to be like, I want to try this. Like, let's do a shootout today, boys. You know, like, there's this new thing going on. We just implemented a new I haven't been sponsored by them, but I have to talk about it.
Yet.
No, Sound Devices
Okay.
just dropped this microphone called the A20-HH, I believe, and
Okay.
it's called the Nexus system, and it doesn't use companding at all.
Hmm.
And so I had been chasing something for a long time. When I got to stadiums, I heard this, what has been deemed as intermodulated distortion,
Okay.
right? And I was calling everybody I knew, texting Claire, or, calling Claire, texting this guy. Have you ever heard this? Yeah, I have, but I don't know what to do about it, essentially. And it's like, it's almost like when a song is on the radio and FM doesn't know what to do with certain bands of the frequency spectrum, and so it just creates this trash. You know what I mean? And I would hear it on Abel's vocal, and you don't really hear it on small applications. You you hear it in massive, systems, large scale, massive whatever, with a lot of hype on the top end. And it was driving me crazy. And it was like, we got to figure this out. We got to try this mic out. We got to try that mic out. Shooting this out, shooting that out. How I can't get rid of it. And I literally was just, and everyone was like, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, okay. And then Sound Devices came out with this no companding, and I thought, could this fix my problem? And even if it didn't, there's so many cool tricks with it. You could change the weight of the mic. You could change caps. It's so many caps. It has a talkback switch wirelessly, so you can talk to the band and blah blah blah. I'm like, regardless, if we could keep the same Sennheiser cap, we're gonna move to this stick, and we did, and that intermodulated distortion went away. It sounds like a wired mic to me, and it's such a trip. And see, it's that excitement, right? It's that excitement of being like, we got to try this. That should never go away.
Yeah.
And I do get locked into, my go-tos or whatever, or something that I'm used to. I'm not sure, but there might be something better, for whatever I've devised to be like my go-tos. But if you don't lose the excitement to try things,
Yeah.
then I don't know. Is it over at that point?
Yeah. I see it kind of as like being a contractor. You get tools of the trade that you're used to and that you've built your craft around, that you want to try new things as well, but it's kind of your tool belt.
Yeah, for sure.
With that.
Totally.
All right. I want to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Talk to me about the Weeknd. How'd you get connected with him? Like, what was that process like?
Gotcha. So, right after Uptown Funk
Okay.
in 2015 with Bruno, and the promo from that died down, and we came off the road, I got a call from Claire, ML Procise, who's a straight up legend. He's gone now, but he's still here. Called me and said, D, there's this new kid that's blowing up named The Weeknd. Would you like to moonlight with him? Even though I was still with Bruno. And I did. I went to Coachella in 2015 and with The Weeknd, and it was magic. It was just a magical moment. It was one of those gigs where it was like the stars aligned, and it was like, wow. And the managers and the producer was there, and he was just like, it's never ever been like this. Please go this way. And long story short, Wade where I was at, just had a new baby, blah 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 blah. I needed to work, and so I jumped with The Weeknd, and I took a gamble on the new kid with the Basquiat hair, and that was it. Like, it just started exploding, and it just it the vibe was right, and I stuck with the Weekend, and I shifted.
Okay, what is your advice to? I have some friends that are with bands that they've been with them for a while. They enjoy being with them, or maybe they don't enjoy it. What's your advice to, like, if they're nervous about taking that jump or taking that gamble? Do they stay with the sure thing and kind of ride it out, or do they? Because sometimes, like, I've got friends who with specific genres and they're known as that genre, and after a while you get known as that person with that band, and
Uh-huh.
nobody you'll start getting that, like. So what's your advice to people that are maybe thinking about when's the right time to look at different things or to take a step to something else that maybe, because that make a mistake, that could be a huge gamble. That could have flopped for you
Oh, I know, it was a massive
tremendously.
gamble, man. Big time. I mean, walking from Bruno, yeah, it was he was a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Uptown Funk, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, major gamble, but I guess this is my answer. Happiness and money,
Hmm.
you know? And if you got a family, it, is it going to put you with the family or out on the road all the time?
Yeah.
You know, what's the best decision for your family, your happiness, and the bank account? And I mean, man, a wise man named Joel Foreman told me, you know, are you here to make friends or to make money and have a career? And I had to sit on that for a minute, because if you're really going to make it in this gig, it's not to get close to the stars, it's not to get comfortable, it's to come up. That's what we're all trying to do, right? Especially at this in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's like we all need to make a living, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, Abel was so good to me, and just it felt right, and I went, and you know, the
Wow.
rest is history, and I'm still here.
So you mentioned your family a little bit. Do you mind if I ask a little bit about the
Oh,
family? It's got a wife and a couple kids.
these guys right here.
Oh.
Look at these dudes. This is the fam. I know that nobody really cares, but can I even do this? No, I can't. Whatever. I'm in love with these folks. The wife, my son Jackson, and my son Philip,
Oh.
10 and 5. My beautiful wife Oya, and she owns a med spa called Call of Beauty Med Spa.
You are punching outside your weight class, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, she's way out of my league. Personality goes really far, everybody. Uh, seriously.
So my question, how do you maintain it?
I stay present. I devote a lot of my time to them on the phone, on FaceTime. We get on the online video games and rock some Fortnite. You know, uh, it's being present in cyberspace.
Yeah.
And flying them out as much as I can, flying home as much as I can. Like, that's really what it comes down to, and it hurts. It does. But I'm fortunate enough to have Abel that knows what it is to, like, appreciate family and what it is to have a real life. And so there's ample amounts of time to where Abel's like, go do your thing. I got you. And I know you got me when I need you.
Yeah.
And it's been like that. And then when I do have time off, sometimes I will moonlight with other people. I've filled in for Toby Francis on Ariana Grande one time. I've done Usher for a solid amount of time at one point. I go out with another XO artist, which is on the Weeknd's label, XO. His name's Nav. He's like a great artist, great. I don't even want to call him a rapper, but he raps and sings. Great artist. Imagine Dragons. I did a couple gigs with Imagine Dragons. Went out with Greta Van Fleet just recently. I missed you during that. That's when we were gonna link at one point, and Greta Van Fleet was killer to work with. Wow, talk about talent too.
Yeah.
And that was really really cool to like mix a band again and like just have drums, bass, B3,
Yeah.
guitar. The guitarist is just incredible. The vocalist is they're incredible. Daniel Wagner, the drummer, is like top notch. It was the first time that I didn't use gates at all on anything. You know what I mean? And it just sounded so raw dog.
Yeah.
And they were so fun to work with.
Yeah.
And just like no track band energy, awesome.
So talk to me a little bit about that with working with different artists. Is this, and how do you approach it? Do you talk to the artist directly, or like, hey, do you want me to go live album or to studio or your sound, or do you do it to your sound? Like, what's your approach to that?
I'm always gonna ask. I'm always gonna approach and ask. I'm gonna introduce myself as professionally and friendly as I can, with no awkwardness, and ask, how would you like me to mix? Because I'm not egotistical like that. Like, my opinion doesn't really matter. Like, I'm trying to, I will give it when I'm asked for it, but I'm not really trying to shift their perspective on what it should be. I want to give them what they want.
Yeah.
They're the ones paying me, right? So
Yeah.
give them what they want. That's what I would want.
Give people what they want.
I mean, and Abel at this point, I'm like, yo, do you want this? Do you want that? He's like, dude, I trust you. You got it. And that is like, that's what a front of house guy, that's really what anyone wants to hear, whether it's lighting, creative design, whatever. It's like, I trust you. It's like, what? You trust me? All right, cool. Yeah, exactly.
Looking back your entire career, if you could relive one moment from it, like, I'm talking the best moment you had, but you can like erase it from your memory and relive it again, experiencing all those amazing things again for the first time through everything you've been through. What's that one moment you're like, you know what, I'd love to do that again?
I feel like I've already mentioned it. It was that Coachella moment, man.
Really?
With the Weeknd. Seriously, that was a major shift for me. It was like the universe put me there for the fact that I'm here now. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but those moments in life where you just feel like you were meant to be at that place at that time for some reason. That is how that felt to me. And I mean, there were learning things that happened at that moment too. Like, I remember, so Jack White was supposed to play right after us, right? But for some reason, the billing shifted, and all of a sudden, Jack was in front of us, and we played after. We were like the playoff music, even though he wasn't as big as whatever. Like, it felt like we were the headliner all of a sudden. And then I also saw Brad Maddox come to do Jack White, and I'm like waiting to see the XL4 and all this crusty analog gear. It's Jack White, like it's gonna be, an analog artillery, right? And he's walking in front of house with one cube, and I'm like, there's Brad. I know what he looks like, and he gets there, and of course I'm like, not feeling like a big boy or whatever, and I had to ask him, I'm like, I thought you were gonna bring all the XL4 analog stuff. He's like, I'm like, what is that? He's like, it's a profile engine. I'm like, what? A profile engine? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna borrow a profile surface. Okay. and he, one of the best shows I've ever heard. And I'm looking over his shoulder, and he's using plugins like Impact, Smack, like, and I was just floored. I was just like, wow, this, and here's a great saying that one of my favorite broadcast engineers, his name's Eric Schillen. He says to me, Derek, it's the Indian, not the arrow. You know, like it doesn't matter what tools you got. Honestly, like folks have been so brainwashed by marketing. I don't know if this will make it in because it's a touchy subject, but like nobody cares what is going on here. Like 99% of all the people out here, if they just don't, who cares? They know nothing about it. And for the 1% that does know something about it, if I told people I was mixing on a Digico, it might sound better to them. And then once they found out it was a Yamaha, they'd be like, oh, it doesn't sound as good. You know, like it's the biggest mind game that I've ever been involved with, this whole sound thing. You know, tweaking out on an EQ and then realizing it's in bypass. Like that whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Guilty.
it happened to me the other day. You know, I'm like literally like, oh, that sounds better, you know? And then realize, oh, it's not in.
Oh.
You know, there's been moments where I'm like, oh my God, like there'll be some like staff member on Clearwing. I remember I was at a festival, there was a staff member on Clearwing mixing Outcast, right? It was like an Outcast reunion. It was just track and 2 vocals. And I'm like, whoa, it sounds good. I wonder what this dude's using. And I go out there and there's dude on a profile, literally nothing, no plugs. We're talking channel, comp. That was it. Like not even, I don't even think there was any EQ. And I just thought to myself, I'm a total joke. You know, this whole thing is such a mind bender, you know?
What is a concert that you went to that was like rewired the way that you see, like, I'm not talking it was a good concert, I'm talking you walked away from that just, it messed your brain up.
I hope he's gonna watch this, man. His name is Adam Rounds.
Okay.
And it was Tame Impala 2019. I could not believe how good it sounded. And I fanboyed out. Like I emailed him like, dude, I don't care who I am or who I think I am. Please teach me. You know, like straight up.
Wow.
Like the dude blew my mind.
What stood out to you?
It was so, everything had the perfect pocket. Like that's really what it came down to. It was powerful. It was non-abrasive. It was so interesting, clear. It was just perfect to me. It was glued, everything. It was just amazing, you know? And I literally was like, bro, please just show me what you're doing.
Did he reach back out to you?
He did.
Yeah.
He did, and we chatted.
Yeah.
You know, and it was an honor, you know. And I don't want to give too much away, but side chaining. You know,
Okay.
he was a big on side chaining, you know, and I'm doing that now.
Okay.
Like now, since I'm dealing with track, it's a track heavy show and a band. And I've never ever tried, I can't stand it when it's track and band. Like, and you can like literally separate the two while listening, basically.
Yep.
I'm always trying to marry the two.
Yeah.
And get the band to feel like they're a part of each record, you know, just a new spin, a new remix, you know, and achieving that. And I was doing some side chaining like that prior to talking to Adam, but he was really going in. But you know, now I have a track bus and a band bus, and they're sucking on each other, you know, in certain areas. You know, when the band, or I should really say, yeah, when the band is digging in on the low mid, the track bus is tucking a little bit, so the band could be more powerful in those areas. The toms can pop and all that. The track is side chaining the band in the like 80 and below, so that all that that juicy sub stuff, they're not interfering with that, and then the 2 to 5K ish region, the track is dominating that area. When the track really gets going in that area, it's going to tuck the band bus in that area, and a world of difference. Like, it's hard to get everything to be in the correct pocket when you're dealing with track and band, because the band, they're doing what they want to do. They can do whatever in rehearsal, and you'll be like, okay, I got it locked. And then the guitar player or the piano player is like, I'm going to try this patch tonight, and it's like going to interfere with certain areas. So to combat that, there's some side chaining happening, and it's helped me a lot. I'm always trying to stay open-minded to new tricks, just like everyone watching is, and that's probably not a new trick, but it definitely helped me a lot. Saturation is a major thing for me now. I never really understood it. And now I'm like, to get things to be clear and present in these environments, saturation is key. Like full blown. Now for me, it's necessary. And one of my secret weapons is the Waves Abbey Road saturator. Like, you put that thing on, and if you go overboard with it, things are going to sound broken. But if you get it in the right spot, it is like, it's magical, and I'm being really risky, and I put it on the vocal, and it's like the vocal is so clear, and it does this like low mid kind of dip, but still sounds fat and just sizzle. Like, it's just got sizzle. And so putting that on a vocal and having him come out in front of a already spicy PA is dicey. So the 5045 has saved my life, and something that is so painful to everyone, but is necessary for me, to where I'm just like, I'm doing it. The monitor guy comes out and we ring out the mic every day with X feedback. And I have multiple instances of X feedback for different areas of the stage. So when he's upstage, I ring it out there. And then as he moves, I ring it out in multiple places prior to the show happening during sound check. And it's painful for everybody. The monitor engineer comes out and goes, sorry, everybody, it's that time of the day. I need to ring this mic out. Please wear ear protection or go away, and they all leave or whatever. And we ring the mic out in certain areas everywhere. And then as the show happens, I am turning on and off as he moves around the instances in the plug-in chain on the vocal bus. And that has like completely saved my life, because my pet peeve at this point is for anyone in the audience to say they can't hear the vocal. That's like death to me.
Yeah.
If I am on Reddit at the end of the night and I'm scrolling through comments and they say, I couldn't hear the vocal, the sub was overpowering, I'm like, dude, why did I hear the vocal all night? Why didn't that guy? Like, it kills me. And so anyways, saturation has really helped me out. And I never understood it until, I want to say 2018, 19. And I realized that like every dope record, it's saturated. Like, after I finally understood, I was like, oh, okay. That's why all these records sound so amazing, is that at some point in the chain of things in the studio, it's hitting some kind of saturator, harmonic distortion box somewhere, mastering in the middle, wherever. Like, that's where all that amazing spice is coming from,
Wow.
And then of course the Yamaha desk with the silk also helps. I'm getting kind of geary now. We're not getting so cerebral.
No, it's good. I got a bunch more questions for you.
Yeah.
Before we get to the questions, if you want to support this channel, I've got Patreon and YouTube membership. Please go over there and support. We also got merch. Like if you want to get one of these shirts, go over to the website. Also have an app. If you go to the App Store, look up This Is Dela Cruz. We've got people there like Ask a Pro. We got verified people just like him that are actually have verification badge, looking for jobs, all of that. Please go over there. But if you want to support that, please go there. And I do extra behind the scenes of like, we'll go into his gear some more and you'll be able to see all that. So thank you guys so much for your support. Please go support that. You talked about mixing with the on bypass. What is one of the biggest mistakes you've made more than just EQing with on bypass?
I mean, we've all
Have you
had
made a
those.
mistake?
Come on, buddy. You know, I had a mentor one time tell me, he's like, if you stop asking questions, that's when I get nervous. Like, of course we're gonna have mistakes, right? It's always been like, uh-oh, I muted the vocal mic. Like, oh God, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Like, there's been those moments, those broadcast moments, man. That, you know, there's been times with drums where I have like a gate threshold too high, and it'll be like gung 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 gung. You know, like there's always been jokes about that. Let's see, what else? I have made a million. I swear to God, I have. But I mean, it's muting. It's like it's mutes, you know, or like routing issues or something stupid, you know, or like, how did I not catch that quick enough?
Yeah.
You know, that's always the bummer too. It's like, how did I miss that cue? Or show go, and like I miss, oh geez, you know.
Are you
gotta
pretty
get it up.
Snapshot heavy on this?
I do snapshots for every song, but I don't go like chorus, verse, all that. I actually mix, you know, while the song's going, but I always get a starting point, especially with gelling band with track, because sometimes you know, like you got to tuck the snare a little bit, you know, you got to tuck the live snare a little bit, or the live kick, you know, because it's too much, it's overwhelming, right? So I always have like a starting point, and thank God for time code. I mean, that's something that I wasn't doing for a long time. And, you know, of course, it's pretty easy to hit next, you know, but it sure is nice to just not have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, it just fires and cool. And it just, I don't know, it's pleasant.
Is this, I'm assuming the whole show is ran off time code?
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
100%. I mean, it's too technically, there's too much spectacle for it not to be.
Favorite part of the show?
Favorite part of the show? It's probably a song called Less Than Zero. I just love this song. It's pretty indie rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the guy's all over the map as far as genres go, you know, and there's something for everybody. I mean, the LA hipsters in Silver Lake are rocking the Weeknd, and the folks in Atlanta are rocking the Weeknd. It's just like, it's all over the map, you know? And then there's also a moment, it's everyone's, you know, one of everyone's favorite Weeknd song, The Hills. And it's just got so much fire and brimstone that it's just like, it's just overwhelmingly powerful. And the energy in the crowd is just off the charts. You know, everyone's singing, rocking, and it's so hot. The pyro is just like so close and in your face to where it's almost like you know, it's jarring, you know.
Biggest misconception about maybe the Weeknd or a Weeknd show?
My misconception?
No, you think the biggest misconception people have?
That it's all going to be hip hop. Like, folks that don't know the Weeknd, they're probably coming to a Weeknd show think it's all going to be like R&B or hip hop or whatever. There's a lot of rock elements. operatic, just like tasty moments of just like, this is music, you know? I still, to this day, like, dude's been #1 on Spotify for like years at a time.
Yeah.
And I'll still be like, I work for this artist named The Weeknd. Oh, never heard of him. You know, I'm like,
Yeah,
you
here
never,
we at.
yeah, you know. But have you heard this song, Blinding Lights? They're like, yeah, I heard
Oh,
that.
I love that song.
How about this one? Oh yeah, I know that one
Yeah.
too. It's like they just don't know his name, I guess.
Yeah.
But those I think are you know, random people's misconceptions about The Weeknd. It's gonna be like a hip hop show. It's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's big. You know, it's very grandiose. You know, for some grandiose music, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna throw a hypothetical at you. You're ready for downbeat. You got 30 seconds to downbeat. Console's down. Comes back up. Files are gone. You've got
Oof.
30 seconds.
Files are gone.
Gone. Scratch.
Gone.
Gone.
Okay. Well, I have some redundancy that's not this at all. I have a small utility desk, a Digico, right over there with a mix built that's banging off, that's in the opto loop of the monitor engineer. So it's a completely separate ecosystem. If my engine dies, if my racks go down, whatever, and what you just said happens, and I don't have this too, like if this surface dies, this is going to be my back. I'm going to mix with a mouse for a second. You know, I am. I'm going to ride the vocal and make sure the snapshots fire. This is my B desk, really, but that's my C desk over there. I have a C desk because if my ecosystem dies and the monitor dudes is still going, Lewis, then I can jump over there and have a mix and we can keep going. And it's not a bad mix either. You know, I'm actually pretty proud of it. I've taken it elsewhere on an SD11, you know, the smallest format desk. And I got everything, you know, the track, the drums, the guitar, Mike Dean, everybody's there. And I'm, you know, that thing's got 80 inputs, you know?
Yeah.
And it's this big. So
your advice to like younger engineers that are, I guess one of the things you got to prepare for the worst, right?
always.
And then you've got an engineer that is doing a festival. Everything's down. They're in the weeds. They got to start right now. From your perspective, what would be like, hey, focus 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we're doing vocal immediately. 110%. And we're literally vocal gain up, high pass, and then we're jumping to the other stuff. And we're just pushing faders up, hitting the high passes immediately, and then just balancing. It's a balancing out at that point.
Yep.
And then once we're kind of seated, then we can start EQing and maybe compressing. I don't even think I'd play with a compressor at that point.
Just
like
get
straight
through.
up, it would be whack-a-mole, you know? Yeah, definitely. But, you know, and that's assuming, especially with all these new digital desks, it's like, I'm assuming that every input's bust to the left, right.
Yeah.
And that the outputs from the left, right are going to the right place. Like, dude, too much.
Yep. Can we go through some of the board and how you have it set up?
100%.
Cool? So if you're a Patreon member, this is going to be for you guys. We're going to give you kind of behind the scenes of how stuff is set up. But before we go, if people want to follow you and follow your career, where can they follow you at?
I'm not big on social media. So all you can do really is just go at Derek Brener, DerekBrenner on Instagram. That's where I'm at. You'll see my family. Unfortunately, it's kind of boring, but you'll see some moments of my life doing this stuff too.
Or come to a weekend show near you.
Come to a weekend show. It's good.
It's good.
It's good. I mean,
pretty good.
We're doing sold out nights at a stadium near you.